aftermath of a horrible, terrible set. Everybody has to probably deal with this at some point, right? It's like walking into a room, Trace, with no clothes on. Or
I'd rather walk in with no clothes on than have a bad set.
so this is one of those situations when it and I'll say this, like, it doesn't matter in your business, whatever you're doing, you're going to have a moment of like, oh my God, there's no way around it. If you're going after your passion, or if your dream is nails, building a business, I've had a gazillion of these moments myself where you literally feel like you're walking into a room with no clothes on, and it's like, how do I deal with this? A bad set. Look, I don't even do nails, but it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It is an actual terrifying thing to imagine. I'm going to do a set on somebody, and they're going to be like, the look on their face as they're looking at their nails, and you have to look at them, and it's like, I want to get out.
I'm going to crawl out of my skin.
Okay, first of all, how do you deal with this? And then I want you to talk about your experience, when you went through this, maybe in the early days, okay? But how do you deal with this?
Well, even if the set wasn't bad, sometimes people just aren't happy.
Right.
It's bad to them.
Right.
So no matter what, you're gonna come across it, and it is horrible feeling, especially when you got that. I need to talk to you. Oh. Yeah. Oh.
The salon owner,
and you already know. You just hope that maybe you just were being negative on yourself,
and maybe they're actually really happy about the set.
Maybe they just love them. I don't know. Maybe they'll just go away.
But your internal sensor knows, right?
Knows. Yeah. As soon as this, so and so's on the phone, or I need to talk to you. You're like, oh, yeah.
But do you, like, from the point of when the client looks at the nails, you're looking at their face, right?
I try not to.
Are you just kind of like busy putting stuff away?
Like, that'll be gotta put this away.
You're not like, so what do you think? Do you ever do that?
No, I always ask my clients, like, is there anything you want me to fix?
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, there's always that moment.
But isn't that dangerous? Like, is there anything? Because then they're going to be like, oh, well, let me look and see. And then, like, you're sort of putting it in their head, kind of?
No, not really. I mean, usually once you get to the point where, you're there's always that point of view.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, this one looks a little crooked. Let me check it. So their point of view. It's not that open question that that there's all of a sudden gonna, like, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. You're pretty much asking them, are the length good? Anything that you see from your point of view that you need tweaked?
Okay. So
Sharpies, things like that.
Got it. Okay. So I can see that in terms of, you've got your clientele and it's just sort of part of your process. Things are rolling.
I probably did not ask that at first.
Okay, so exactly.
I don't remember, but I doubt that was in my
right. Like, this is after you're confident,
yeah.
and like, if there's something they don't like about it, you're kind of like, cool, it's fine. I know the nails are good.
Easy fix.
Let me da. But in the beginning,
yeah,
right. This is like,
no,
everybody has to go through it.
It's real. You're waiting for that, like, and especially when you struggled through the whole thing. And I recall one set in particular, because when I first started, you don't also have the confidence to say, no, I don't do that.
Right.
I don't hand paint. We all know this, right? And they all of a sudden want something hand painted, and you just don't have that
You're saying yes to whatever, everything.
So I knew it was there. They were not going to be happy with the hand painting,
the stick figures.
It was a snowman. How do you screw that up?
Wait, did you do a snowman?
I did.
Okay, so
and I was just like, oh gosh,
like, you did squares instead of circles. Put blocks
upside down. I don't know what I did, but it looked like white poo. You ever see those birds, the white poo? That was what it was.
That's what it was. So what happened? Like
you're just crossing your fingers. Maybe it really looked like a snowman to her.
But you weren't feeling like terribly confident.
No.
Okay. So then, what did the client say?
She called later. She didn't say anything at that time.
Okay.
So sometimes they don't say anything. They
And
just
then they keep
call.
looking, keep
They
looking,
just
and keep
call.
looking.
Yeah.
They called the salon owner. Okay. And then, so.
And I'm independent. So there's nothing I have to do about it.
Of course.
You know, but I've always been of the, the mindset of, one in particular I recall is I did a fill for one of the girls in the shop because she was sick. And,
So you took her client?
I took her client.
Okay.
And she asked us to. She was just really sick because a lot of times you'll just wait until you feel better. But she's like, so I'm like, oh, I can do it. And the client wasn't happy. Her name was Pam.
You remember?
Super
Oh my God.
nice lady. But I remember the salon owner. And again, I'm independent, but she still owned the
Of
building.
course.
And she's like, Pam's not happy with her nails. And I'm like, and I said, well, can Pam allow me to pay for her to get it fixed from her nail tech? And then I asked her nail tech, is it okay if I sit and watch what I did wrong?
That's so smart.
And I ended up with Pam as a client.
Really?
After like years when that girl left, I ended up with her as a client and we laughed about it.
I think this fear, right, is probably what prevents a lot of people from.
It's terrifying.
Right?
It's
right?
awful. I don't know how people become heart surgeons. I would not want that feeling on that.
Well, that's why they're in residency for so long and under guidance, and I mean, it's obviously you can't screw that up.
That's why I'm like, I always thought I'd go back to hair school, and I'm like, you know what? If you screw up hair, that's a little more permanent. I'm gonna just stick with nails.
Yeah.
But you have to give yourself permission to fail. We've talked about this before because you are going to fail and you have to grow from it. And you have to put yourself in that position to fail. What I mean by that is sometimes people come out of school and they're like, I'm just going to stick to mani and pedis, which you can screw up too, but it's not.
Of course.
Yeah. And I always say that, I talk to people at our week-long course that, listen, if Habib comes out of school and he's like, you know what, I'm going to fail. I'm going to mess some stuff up, but I'm going to get through it. In 6 months, Habib has a confidence in the artificial world.
Yeah.
Me, I came out and I'm like, I'm too scared to do it. I'm not taking it, but I still want to do it. In 6 months, I'm still doing manicures and pedicures because I never failed.
You're just afraid to
ever get
make
out
those
of that
huge
box.
mistakes.
And and to progress in the nail industry, you're going to have to fail, and that's how you're going to grow.
One of the things I've gotten used to just being in business is the feeling of, like if you're in a restaurant, this is a perfect example that a lot of people can relate to, right? You're in a restaurant and everybody's having a nice quiet dinner. It's not a terribly loud place, the restaurant. And you have a child that decides to scream its flippin' head off to the maximum. And you're just like, oh my God. And you grab the baby and everybody is looking at you and everybody's angry at you, right? They're looking at you. And it's literally, I've gotten used to it to the point of like, I just tell myself, whoa, this really sucks. Feel it. Just take it. Like, take it on the chin. Everybody hates you this moment. It sucks. Here it is. And you just feel it all,
Well, and, okay, I don't want that feeling, so I'm never going to teach my kid to go to a restaurant and how to act.
Right. Exactly.
You just got to do it.
You got to do it. It's like, I can either never go to a restaurant again, or it's like, okay, let me talk to my kid before we walk in. I'm going to say, hey, listen, let's try to sit down. Let's behave. You're not going to get the iPad. You're not going to get this. And then maybe he blows up again, but then it gets a little better and it gets a little better. But
it's the same.
It's the same thing, right? And everybody has to know, like, you cannot avoid this process.
No.
It is that feeling of awkwardness. It's uncomfortable. It really sucks. You feel horrible, but everybody goes through it. You're not alone in it.
And it's a different feeling. Like I said, there's always that chance that a new client is not going to like what you produce.
Yeah.
But there's a difference of me 5 years in and someone saying they didn't like their nails. I'm like, psh.
Yeah. Now, exactly.
Versus knowing. You're just, and you see it and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to fix. And I've already been here 3 hours with them and they're getting anxious and it's just and then you just start spiraling, which makes it just worse. You just start failing all the way around.
Completely.
And that's why I always encourage people to have support system in the salon. I encourage people to go into a salon with other nail techs at first, because I fortunately did also have, I could go, hey, Habib, I'm stuck. Can you show me what I need to do? Or could you finish filing this and make it look right? I had that support system, fortunately.
So if you have that support system, I like the strategy of what you did, which was come in, let's have somebody else fix it. I'd like to watch and you can learn. It's a great way. But what if you do not have that support system? How do you deal with the aftermath? Like how do you deal with the client? What do you do?
Drink.
That's it?
No. I always have told students, listen, you can call me, you can cry about it. I will pat you on the back. We'll have a drink together on the phone. I have your moment. And then tomorrow you're going to show up and you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it again. And you're going to practice and you're going to practice. And you're going to ask that person if you could fix it or whatever it takes. But you have to, whether you have the support system or not. You got to be practicing. You got to be watching videos. Like, is there a video on what they weren't happy with? I didn't like, my nails look too wide. How do I fix wide nail? There's so much information out there anymore that, it's nice to have that backup. And I always say, even if you can find a mentor online, in Instagram and a fellow nail tech, it doesn't have to be in your own town, that you can shoot like, hey, this is a picture. Us, even us, we have people that send us pictures. What is
totally,
what would you fix?
Right.
We can help there. So you gotta, if it's not in town, let's get someone online.
There's a fine line between, there's a fine line of the nails actually maybe aren't good.
Mm-hmm.
And the nails are actually good, but the client is really picky.
Yeah.
So, but how do you know as a nail tech? I mean, is this just experience over time?
It's experience where you feel because we're usually very hard on ourselves.
For sure.
So when we look at something and we go, you know what, I am happy with that and it's good. And my clients are happy with my work. I got a fairly full clientele and they're all happy with my work. You can't please everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
I always say there's people that will say, I don't care for Greg's nails. I'm like,
that's insane.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's just not, or people want different shapes that I don't do. They like duck nails. I don't care for them.
Right.
I like stilettos, but they don't like stilettos. So it also has to do with style, everything. But a lot of times when someone says, I'm not happy with something and you're confident in your work, you can go, what is it that you're not happy about?
Yeah.
Then you might decide, you know what, I don't do that style. Now that you always ask for pictures of what they have in their head, because they can tell you ballerina and they mean square.
Right.
So always ask for pictures. That's what's great about text messages and Instagram and all that anymore. Have all your stuff, your portfolio out. That way people can see what kind of work you do.
Right.
If they're happy with what they saw and they're booking through you after they've seen your portfolio, then they should be liking their nails for the most part.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's at a huge important point of the client is asking for X and then what that is, but more often than not, they don't know what a true shape is, like a ballerina. They may think they do, but maybe they think stiletto. Maybe somebody said, no, it's ballerina, you know, but they don't know. And then you do ballerina and they're like, wait, this is not what I wanted. And that's like, oh my God, like that can be easily avoided.
Well, I want
like you said,
short stilettos. Show me a picture of what you're talking about.
Right.
You know, what is it? Almond? Is it really a story? There's everybody's is different. You know, even ombre. You know, I want an ombre. They might want just the very tip of they might think of French as an ombre, or they just want barely anything on there. So pictures are great.
And this is why also, like in the beginning stages, you have to have that understanding of nails, right? You have to be the pro and the expert behind the chair. You have to build like that, the ability to know what the proper shape is, what the proper structure of a nail is, what actual preparation is, all these things you have to excel at so that you have the confidence to know like, oh, my nail is actually good, the client's just not happy, versus, oh my God, I screwed it up, or like, no, look, my structure is actually like, you need to learn those things and know those fundamentals and those foundations.
Absolutely. And if you have that mentor, that friend, or that's in the industry or whatever, you could say, I think it's good, but I'm going to shoot it over to Habib and see what he thinks.
Right.
And I know Habib will tell me the truth and not like, yeah, it's great.
Right. Yeah, good job. It's like you can't ask, don't
ask your mom.
Don't ask your mom.
Don't ask your mom. You've
got to ask somebody that's going to give you actual constructive criticism so that you can actually fix what's going on. That's it's a hard time though. Like in the beginning phase of building your clientele and doing nails and dealing with doing a bad set, you have to be resilient. Mm-hmm. You have to have the ability to say, you know what? Yes, I need to work on that and be okay with it.
Yep.
And not like, I don't know what she's talking about. My nails are good.
Great. I just want to start out famous.
Yeah. Starting out famous.
You do. And I've met people like that. You're like, how do I tell them? Like they just really don't want to listen. And they usually don't stick around because they're not willing to look in the mirror.
Right. I mean, look, American Idol, right? How often do you see it? You're like, how does this person not know that they're not
like,
good?
This has got to be a joke. No.
It's not a joke. Yeah. Like they actually go up there and like, I'm good. You know, it's whoa, dude. Yeah. But that's everywhere. It's not just singing. Like you're going to see it in nails. You've got to be objective. You've got to learn those basics and foundations so that you can properly deal with that like aftermath.
And I think that's why we talk about schools so much, because I think part of that is people assume that that's where they're going to make the mess up.
Yeah. And
that they're going to come out of school being good. And it's typically not how it works.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, and a lot of skills that you don't learn in school.
Right. Just like, I mean, that's business, right? Mm-hmm. You can go to business school. I'm telling you, you're not going to learn how to run a business school. You learn a lot of good information for sure.
Yeah.
But like, how do you teach resiliency, right? How do you teach bouncing back from a bad set or a bad situation that happens? That's just experience. And that's like a desire of, I want to make my business better. I want to be a better nail tech.
Yep. And the only thing I can say, and it's what you have said, but we all went through it. And there's comfort in that, you know, because sometimes techs will not tell you that. It's just like, yeah, no, I was good. Coming out of the womb, I was good. And it's like, no, you weren't.
Yeah.
You know, nobody was.
Very few people are that skilled.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this before. There are those rare cases of like extreme talent, unicorns. But outside of that, it's not the case. And you're going to have to deal with a bad set. But again, what we're saying is, don't worry.
There's hope.
There's hope. You're not alone.
Yep.
Love it, Trace. That's how we're ending that one.
Subscribe channel now. Subscribe channel now.